can build if education from nursery to university is made free. This is InfoHub Recap. Stay with us for the next half an hour as we take you through major stories covered during the period July 29 to August 2.
The future of Guyana has never looked better. Our nation is on the cusp of a development program like never seen before. While Guyana is now emerging as an energy giant through the discovery of massive reserves of oil and natural gas, it is your government's intention that the huge benefits emerging from this will go where it matters most, to you, the people of this beloved country. There is a surge of confidence in the way Guyana is governed once again, and the level of investor interest is unprecedented. Guyana is poised to become the breadbasket of the region, and the pace at which this nation will grow through prudent fiscal management will be nothing short of impressive. But more than anything else will be the way every Guyanese, regardless of color, class, or creed, becomes a part of this historic period of national transformation, sharing in the wealth and well-being of it all as one Guyana.
Thank you for joining us. Free tuition from nursery to university is possible here in Guyana. During emancipation celebrations in Berbice, His Excellency President David Granger, who has been sharing his vision of an educated nation, stated that revenue collected from the upcoming petroleum industry is best spent on making education free for Guyanese.
My brothers and sisters, every citizen, every Guyanese has a right to education. This is the basic entitlement of all of us, all of our children. Free education is an entitlement mandated by our Constitution, which states every citizen has the right to free education from nursery to university. And listen to me good. Listen to me.
The head of state was addressing a massive crowd at number 53 Union Village, currently in Berbice, yesterday at a festival to mark the 181st anniversary of emancipation. President Granger said that the government will be honoring the mandate of the Constitution, providing the basic human right from revenues coming out of the oil sector. Production of forced oil is expected to begin the latest early 2020.
Our expected petroleum revenues, apart from what will be devoted to our sovereign welfare fund, our expected petroleum revenues will help us to restore free education in accordance with our Constitution. Petroleum is not to enrich a few, it is to educate the many. Let that be understood, that those resources belong to future generations, and future generations will benefit, will profit from being educated.
According to the Guyanese leader, the greatest gift of emancipation is education. He said African Guyanese have especially embraced education as a means of providing a better life for themselves, their families, and future generations.
These African Guyanese who took hold of education were able to contribute more and more to the development of this country in diplomacy, in business, in the arts, engineering, in law enforcement, legal services. All of these became possible because of our grasp of education.
As the government moves further into the development of education, the head of state also declared a national decade of development, which he said will see an increased thrust into the education sector of Guyana. The initiative is in keeping with the International Decade of People of African Descent, a decade of reflection designated by the United Nations, which acknowledges the plight of Africans who were victims of the greatest crime against humanity. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Guyana's first ever drug treatment court is set to be operational in a few months. This is a significant achievement for the country's justice system, as it will promote public safety and the well-being of society, provide treatment and support for eligible substance abusers and drug-dependent offenders. More so, it will provide alternatives to incarceration and reduce the cost of prison.
The drug treatment court model was established out of the need to solve the frequent and persistent problems that drug-related cases create for court systems, the jails, and society as a whole, noted Director of the National Anti-Narcotics Agency, retired Major General Michael Attlee. Major Attlee was delivering remarks at the opening ceremony of the drug treatment court training exercise this morning for partners and persons who will be working in the new system. Also addressing the opening was Madam Roxanne George, the acting Chief Justice, who similarly stated that the treatment of drug users is preferable to incarceration, adding that reasons for having a drug treatment court is multidimensional.
The anecdotal and empirical evidence strongly indicates that there has been and is a growing number of persons who interface with the criminal justice system in Guyana who are substance abusers.
The Chief Justice said many offenders have committed non-violent offences for which the response of incarceration is not the most beneficial.
International and regional experience has demonstrated that treatment of substance abusers is a better response than imprisonment.
The National Drug Strategy Master Plan calls for all participating agencies and bodies to implement measures and programs that offer treatment, rehabilitation and recovery support services to drug-dependent offenders as an alternative to criminal persecution or imprisonment. CARICOM countries who already have drug treatment courts include Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Barbados and the Bahamas. The latest to join this list are Antigua and Barbuda and Guyana. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
The decades of wait is finally over for the residents of Plantation Mount Sinai and Angois Avenue. The residents are now legal owners of their house lots with their titles in hand.
Scores of residents made their way to the Berbice Educational Institute as they patiently awaited the delivery of their land titles. After decades of living in the once squatting community, residents are now on the road to development. The more than 200 titles were handed out by Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency Joseph Harmon and Minister of Communities with responsibility for housing Annette Ferguson, who residents said are the reason their prayers have been answered.
Today I am very happy that after almost 6 years of, or 7 years of hard work, that we have come to this point where 209 persons will receive their certificates of title.
Today's event is in keeping with the government's vision of ensuring adequate and affordable housing for all Guyanese. Minister Ferguson said the administration will continue on this path until its housing objectives are realized.
The President has posited that his vision for housing will see a Guyana, and I want you to listen to me carefully, where every citizen enjoys the right to housing. And His Excellency is merely enforcing what our Constitution, Article 26 of our Constitution, speaks to the issue of adequate housing. Our people must be afforded with adequate housing accommodation.
And I'm so happy today to hold this document in my hand. I was waiting for it a very long time. I nearly get a half of a foot because of this land. And today I am proud, I am happy, and I'm thankful.
We want to say thanks to our government and our ministers, our hard-working ministers of Angois Avenue. We want to say thanks for let us get in our title. Thanks to our president and the hard workers behind this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The Angois Avenue community has a population of some 7,000 persons, with some 1,000 house lots. The land title distribution today was just the beginning of greater things to come. Other families are expected to be granted their land titles in the near future. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
Residents of Pomeroon in Region 2 took advantage of the opportunity to interact with government ministers. Earlier this week, the high-level team traveled to the region to get a first-hand look at the challenges facing residents along the river and to better serve their needs.
This comes after the village council made a proposal to the public infrastructure minister to have a footbridge constructed to link St. Chad's and Barocaro sub-communities within Akawini. The main beneficiaries will be students attending the primary school in Barocaro.
We see it would benefit the residents of Barocaro and St. Chad's because there are many school children at St. Chad's which have to cross from one point to the other to reach the school.
That was Esau, an Akawini Village Council member. Meanwhile, another resident, Paulette Richards, spoke about the current difficulty with the boating system and expressed her desire to see the bridge constructed.
Sometimes the children them don't have boat to come to school from the other islands, right? So if the bridge should build from Barcar to St. Chad's, I believe it would be a great exercise.
Minister Patterson pledged to work along with village leaders to have the bridge in place as soon as possible.
Easiest way for us to do, you all have the timber around here, right? We do the same thing like we did with the walkway. We try and get the community to cut the timber and we pay you for it. I'll speak to the deputy, Tusha will speak to you and him, and we get thing. And I look to see what we can do as soon as possible.
Construction of a footbridge would eliminate the costs attached for students to travel to school and would facilitate a smoother commute for other residents in the community. The bridge will mimic Akawini's first footbridge that was constructed in Barocaro this year.
Reported from the indigenous community of Akawini in Region 2 with videographer Mahinda Raj, Shaquille Bourne, for InfoHub.
Also coming out of the Pomeroon River visit, farmers and residents of Hackney will benefit from drainage and irrigation relief in the coming week.
Scores of farmers in the lower Pomeroon are breathing a sigh of relief as the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority will soon conduct a canal clearing exercise. In the coming week, the NDIA will be clearing the Hackney Canal, a crucial channel for farmers in the community. Hackney is a village 11 miles from Charity on the Essequibo coast and a 25-minute boat ride from the Charity Stelling. Largely an agricultural community, the clearing of this canal will boost agricultural productivity in the area. The announcement came during a community meeting in Hackney hosted by Minister of Education Dr. Nicolette Henry and Finance Minister Winston Jordan.
This is part of a larger program, whereas government ministers and officials, we are going to the regions to meet with residents to get a sense of what it is that they consider to be burning and pertinent issues.
The clearing of the canal comes on the heels of a recent visit by Chief Engineer of NDIA to get a first-hand glimpse of the work that was needed on several canals and villages along the Pomeroon River. For his part, Finance Minister Winston Jordan urged residents to equip themselves with the necessary skills so that they can benefit from Guyana's developing economy. From Hackney Village on the lower Pomeroon River, with senior videographer Kwesi Wishart, Natisha Isaacs for InfoHub.
Government continues to make significant investments to ensure children across the country have access to education. To this end, the Ministry of Finance donated an outboard engine to equip the David Granger boat that plies the lower Pomeroon River.
The 200-horsepower Yamaha engine was procured at a cost of roughly $4.3 million. The Minister of Finance on Sunday donated the engine to the Department of Education in Region 2 following a ministerial outreach in the Lower Pomeroon.
We at the Ministry of Finance are always happy to help wherever we can, especially in education. As I go around and I see the needs, wherever we can help, we try to help.
Minister of Education Dr. the Honorable Nicolette Henry thanked the Ministry of Finance for partnering with her ministry. She noted that the initiative aligns with the Education Ministry's priority of ensuring access to quality education.
I can assure you that we will take good care of it and it will help us to get our children to school. You know, one of the priorities of our ministry is to ensure access, and this is very much in line with the ministry's priority.
Regional Education Officer Nicola Matthews said the engine will benefit the students, particularly those attending Charity Secondary, 8th of May Secondary, and the Anna Regina Secondary schools. The David G. boat is part of the 5 Bs initiative piloted by His Excellency President David Granger. The initiative provides transportation, hot meals, and educational material, buses, boats, bicycles, breakfast, and books, all free of cost to students across Guyana, particularly in hinterland regions. Letitia Isaacs for InfoHub.
The Ministry of Public Infrastructure is monitoring the reinforced Maikoni sea defenses. Earlier last month, the ministry promptly responded to a sea defense breach at dam site Maikoni. Thus far, the breach has been sealed and 5,000 tons of boulders have been added to reinforce weakened sections of the earthen embankment.
Inspecting the works at the Danzig shoreline on Monday was Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Jaipal Sharma. The minister spoke about works being done to protect residents and farmers.
We are monitoring the situation. On this coast, stretching from Mahaika to Maikoni, we had drones went up into the air. We're monitoring the situation, and every month we are checking to see the level of erosion in relation to the removal of the mangrove from the aggressive waves during the high tide, spring tide. And we're taking remedial actions to ensure that we could arrest the situation before there is a breach.
The Danzig sea defense is temporary in nature and spans 125 meters. Boulders were transported to the site and other vulnerable locations via barges. Minister Sharma also mentioned the construction of a key feature to facilitate further sea defense works along the earthen dam.
We actually built a bridge of a length of 100 meters by 20 feet wide. And that will be used now as the bridge is strangled to bring in a truckload of material.
600 meters east of Danzig, Minister Sharma commented on ongoing works.
Throughout the dam here, there are openings like about 100 to 200 feet and so, and we're taking immediate measures to hold the line and to prevent a possible breach.
The temporary works are estimated to increase the structural integrity by approximately 75 to 80% before the permanent riprap project commences.
Reported from the site that the breach initially occurred in Danzig, Maikoni, with videographer Kareem Peters, Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Still on infrastructure. A 75-year-old subsistence farmer, Edward Ramsamy, is among residents in Region 1 that is lauding the Warner Road project. This $100 million project is nearing completion.
He had no road here, just a little, nothing I used to run here. But today, everything running here.
That was Edward Ramsamy. The grandfather of 3 was overjoyed with the work done so far, as it is now easier for him to uplift his pension.
I feel so happy with it, because it's better for me and all to walk out. From here to go to the bus shed to catch a bus.
Diana Sankar, a school teacher in Wana, also gave her opinion.
It is better than it was before. If I want to go somewhere, I can walk freely than to just stepping over mud and all these things and trying to get the proper car, you know.
For phase 2 of the project in Wana, 10 kilometers of road is currently being constructed.
The $109 million project is at 80% completion. Hinterland engineer within the Public Infrastructure Ministry, Jeffrey Walcott, explained the features of the thoroughfare.
This in particular was one of the more challenging hills because of not only the material, it was really destroyed because of the trucks and all the traffic that passing through. So currently the width of the road was widened to about 24 feet, and as you can see, the guys did an extensive amount of slope control to manage not only the water, but in terms of dealing with the soil qualities that we have out here.
Walcott commented on the remaining 20% that is currently being done.
So the contractors them have finished most of the prep work. They're actually at the base level. So all that's left for them to do is basically base road the laterite and then place a compact.
Last December, Phase 1 saw 3.5 kilometers of road in Wana completed at a cost of $46 million. With the completion of Phase 2 by the end of 2019, the broader mission to connect the Mabaruma to Yarkita corridor will move closer to becoming a reality.
Reported from Region 1 with videographer Kareem Peters, Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
In news from the energy sector, as first oil draws near, the much-anticipated draft local content policy is expected within weeks.
Head of the Department of Energy, Dr. Mark Bino, says Guyana's local content policies draft will be ready in around 2 weeks, at which point it will be presented to the private sector and all the relevant stakeholders. This, as well as other legislative adjustments, are the forefront of the work being done by this department. The expectation is that all necessary frameworks will be put in place before first oil, Dr. Bino stressed. The draft will better define what defines local content and how this is measured.
Because thus far we've been speaking about Exxon, but what about Tullow if they are to be successful? What about Repsol? So we want a standardized format, which should not be coming from the operators, but should be coming from us to say this is how we wish the data to be reflected.
For its part, ExxonMobil has been spending heavily on local businesses, according to Senior Director of Public and Government Affairs, Deidre Moe.
So far, first quarter of this year, it was about 24 million, so almost half actually. So we're already, not even, it was like just that fourth of the way through the year. So actually our spend from 2015 to 2019 is kind of doubled almost every year, and we're really probably on track to do about the same.
Moe opined that her company's spending will continue to increase exponentially as the sector continues to expand.
That will increase over time as well. We're really in the early stages of kind of moving forward as an industry, right? That's one project and it's one company, but as the industry continues to grow, that we expect that spend to continue to increase and revenues start to come in, and over time it will grow.
Paul McCallum for InfoHub.
Stabroek and border markets are now in improved conditions. Vendors who ply their trade at the locations are satisfied with the transformation, making business more comfortable to be conducted and in a healthier environment.
Just a few years ago, a simple walk through sections of the border and Stabroek markets would have revealed many drains clogged with rotten fruit and vegetables, styrofoam and cardboard boxes, and other discarded items. Vendors of both markets had regularly voiced their concerns about the poor conditions. At border, they are singing a different tune.
The drainage system, they improve a lot because a piece of time, sometimes the water used to take 2 days to run off, but now you don't really get no floods now. It's the steady cleaning of the drains.
I would say the progress, it is there. But a lot of Guyanese don't have patience. They are accustomed to one way of life. And when a new way proposed, it's kind of like hard for them. But they need to consider the benefit of the country and not the ratio of money.
Since entering the office, the government has undertaken much needed works to improve the conditions of the markets. A recent joint venture between the mayor and city council and some of the Stabroek vendors resulted in the cleaning of the market bazaar.
It's 100% better now. Because first you used to see garbage all over now.
Since this government take over, the place clean up a lot. We don't get no more flooding at the market. First we used to get flooding at the market. When soon the rain fall, we can't walk. The place flood up and so on. So since this government take over, we get a better market right now.
Some vendors also spoke of the improved relationship between the city council and sellers.
We know mayor, he show more improvement and to himself that we don't get no fight with the constable and them thing. We too have vendor, we just try for help the cleaners them when them come wrong. Same ways we walk to, now the cleaners them alone.
With Mayor Ubraj Narayan at the helm, the City Council is forging ahead with the agenda to restore Georgetown to its former glory of being the Garden City. Neola Demon, InfoHub.
5 budding business owners in Linden are now in a better position to enhance their concepts, making it into a reality, as they were given grants from the Small Business Bureau.
Handing over the checks to the lucky entrepreneurs was Minister of Business Hemraj Rajkumar, who reiterated the coalition government's commitment to ensuring small enterprises have equal access to business opportunities.
As a government, we are committed to ensuring that Guyanese business have equal and fair access to those business opportunities, but it has to be a collaborative effort.
InfoHub spoke to 2 of the recipients.
Well, this grant basically going to help me develop my business, help me purchase certain equipment that I really need to have.
I feel real good that, that they could come out and help young people that have ideas, and need opportunity to get things on the road.
During his address to officially open the exhibition and trade fair at the Egbert Benjamin Exhibition and Conference Centre, the business minister noted that while Linden thrived on the bauxite industry, businesses must look to the future and diversify their economy. Members of Linden's business community were urged to position themselves to benefit from the oil and gas sector.
Many opportunities are available throughout the length and breadth of our country and also all across our economic sectors. But these opportunities will not be materialized if we do not take deliberate actions to make them a reality.
The exhibition and trade fair is a culmination of Business Week, an initiative hosted by the Linden Chamber of Industry, Commerce and Development. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Old-aged pensioners have welcomed a newly erected shed at Clonbrook Post Office.
This shed that we are standing under, you can see it is very, very helpful, not only to me, but to the rest of the community. And I welcome it.
Thank God for the shed. No sun, no rain, and it's okay.
That was 78-year-old Philip Adams and 70-year-old Champati, who were both happy to be seated under the newly erected shed at Clonbrook Post Office donated by the Assembly of God Church in the community. At the small ribbon-cutting ceremony this morning, pastor of the Clonbrook Assembly of God Church, Sean Wilson, noted that the initiative was undertaken as part of its 40th anniversary celebrations. He said that the church does not only consider one's spiritual needs, but the physical as well.
It took us actually half of a day to erect this shed after the men of the church worked so hard. The only time we had was Sunday afternoon, and we give God praise because we were able to do it.
Deputy Postmaster General Anastasia Jasmine Lynch thanked Pastor Wilson and his parishioners for completing the project, which she deemed as timely.
The Guyana Post Office Corporation is being repositioned in the country. We're being repositioned, and we cannot do it on our own. We need the support of all Guyanese. We need the support of civil society. We need the support of corporate society. We need the support of every individual to make this work.
The project was completed at a cost of $260,000. For InfoHub, I am Kellon Rover.
This has been InfoHub Recap, which looked at major stories carried between July 29 to August 2. Remember to subscribe to our website for more stories and follow us on our social media platforms. Have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.